If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon.
South Africa, known as apartheid. And we talked about how that is so relevant in today's society in America as well. So, not just in South Africa, but in America, as people of color, we're dealing with the issues of segregation, right? And then we jumped into what the fear factor is. Then why is it that so many individuals, if indeed, and we're talking about what is this termed the majority, but we know it's not the majority, but termed as white folk who are uncomfortable with black folk. And so why is there a fear of black folk? But at the end of the day, it is us who have created these Americas. It's us who did the soil, blood, sweat, tears to build up the plantation wealth and to build up those families' wealth and the generational wealth. And so once we were emancipated, still was a fear that for whatever reason, and so lynching was key. Lynching was a keen source of how to control the mindset of the people through lynching. And so we talked about what that looked like. We talked about the Equal Justice Initiative and launching their memorial and acknowledging the lynchings that they could document. But of course, we know that there are so many more, those that we don't know of, we'll never know of. But if the grounds could talk, and if the soil and the dirt could have its say, and if the trees and the branches who were still here and are still here growing in this time could speak, it would be a different story. And then I brought in some modern components to it. We talked about the video. We talked about Kanye. Can't forget him. We talked about Kanye and his comments that slavery is a choice, was a choice. And so I presented to you yet a day, if indeed you had took offense to what he stated then, do you find it applicable now? The concept of slavery being a choice now, and that we are enslaved to a variety of things, not necessarily presented by someone white, but what we are enslaved to, which stops us from moving forward, and that it's a mindset, that we're enslaved to not being successful as entrepreneurs, not determining our own path in life because we believe that we can't do it. Not that it can't be done, but that we can't do it. And we're the main ones that will sit and talk about all these other entrepreneurs in our communities and all the other entrepreneurs in our communities that we give our monies to and that we complain about, but they're creating wealth for themselves and their families, but yet we won't do it. And those of us who attempt to do it, we poo-poo and hate on them and tell them what they can't do, and why don't they just go get a job, and we're not supportive of them, and we won't do any of that stuff because it's been inbred in us that we can't. And so with that being the same said, I believe that that is a form of slavery. And so then I asked, and we juxtapose that to Childish Gambino, his video, This Is America, which had some imagery with the dancing and the caricature as presented through the Jim Crow era. And then what that looked like, that there was such more an appreciation for a gun. And they, in the video, they were so kind in their handling of a gun, but the killing, the depiction of the killing and the shooting of black men, the black man in the video, the choir as depicted through the Dylan Roof fiasco, that there was just no value for the lives of people who are black and brown. And so that is the recap, and all the calls I see, I'm about to get to you. And so that is that recap. I wanted to bring us up to date. And so then I wanted to ask, if in understanding all of that, where are we right now? And do you ever wonder, thank you, that if indeed America, white America, valued black folk like they do black culture, where would we be? I'm going to give it to you yet again. If indeed white America valued black folk like like they do Black culture, what would America look like? Where would we be? And I know a lot of you might say, well, Collette, I don't understand what you're saying because it's one and the same. No, it isn't. You all recall the days back when, of course, we weren't integrated and they would have all the supper clubs and the like, that the Black entertainers could go in. Now, you had to sleep either at someone's house. You couldn't go to the majority motel. You couldn't drink out of their water fountains. You couldn't come through the front door. You couldn't sit down with them and have a meal, but you could come through the back door. You could get up there and perform, and everyone could dance and do their thing to your music and think about how you're so great and applaud you and stand up, and then you still have to go to the black door, out the back door, and go stay at the Black motel, and you get where I'm going. So that was a part of it, but that was our culture, right? But then we'd love how we cooked, and we could cook for them. So we could cook for them, and we could stay in the kitchen, and we could stay behind the scenes, and we could cook, and it was good enough to eat our food, our soul food, as they determined it. But it was good for them to eat all that all day. Never think about how we could poison the food, do anything in the food. You're eating the food of the people that you oppress and suppress. But you didn't think that because you'd already put the fear in us to know. So we believe that we would never do that. We would never hurt you. And I'll do you one again, so much so then that so many of our women, our mothers, nursed their babies. They were held on to the bosom. You got milk and nourishment from our bodies. I'm trying to get the imagery of that. That has been our history, a part of our culture in these Americas. And then we'll just talk about it from a mass perspective with regards to entertainment, that what is the image of the king of rock and roll? Who was that? You all know, Elvis, right? So it was Elvis, the king of rock and roll. Where did he get that from? Chuck Berry. Let's talk about who's supposed to be this great vixen, the greatest sex appeal in America. Who was that? Marilyn Monroe? No. We talk about Betty Boop before Marilyn Monroe. Dorothy Dandridge before Marilyn Monroe. Lena Horne. I'll do you one more today. If you say, Collette, well, I don't really get with any of those, and no, those aren't applicable to where we are right here today in the city of Detroit. People are taunting that the best mayor in the city of Detroit is who? Has been historically who? Mike Duggan. Now, we all know that the best mayor, the all-inclusive mayor, the one that created the presence for Detroit and the energy of Detroit and made so many millionaires in Detroit and spoke his mind and was ostracized in so many circles and literally put out of spaces because he was a strong Black man, Coleman Alexander Young. But you don't hear that. But today you got everybody, Detroit versus everybody. Y'all see the shirts. Everybody's so proud of the culture of Detroit. But then when it's numbered to one of the top 10 cities in America that has the most high violent rates, no one wants to claim Detroit then. But then when Priceline says, oh, Detroit's one of the great tourist cities, they're talking about Detroit. They're talking about downtown. They're talking about midtown. They're not talking about the communities. But everybody that's out in the suburbs, if they're traveling somewhere, you all know, they'll ask. People ask, oh, where are you from? I'm from Detroit. No, you're from Royal Oak. No, you're from Warren. No, you're from West Bloomfield. But you want to identify with the culture of Detroit. So everyone wants to use the best of us, what we created in Detroit, because you all know, and you all might not like it, but I'm about to say it. You all know in the crux of what was going on in Detroit, the rebuilding of Detroit, there was a white flight. Everyone knows that the white folks left. And Black folk stayed here. Those who were committed to this city. Those who knew that, yes, even if I could move, that who I am and how I make it better is rooted and grounded right here. And we stayed here, and we made Detroit what it is. But now everyone acts like this osmosis of Detroit just came up, and this great development in Detroit just came up, and all the stuff that's happening in the downtowns and the midtowns just came up. No, there would be no downtown if it wasn't for Coleman Alexander Young. There would be no downtown. Let me say that. Under his leadership, not all the mayors prior to, under Coleman Alexander Young, Detroit became molded and shaped, and the neighborhoods created a different face under Coleman Alexander Young. Black culture. But on today, everyone wants to talk about, we'll make America great again. Well, the only way that America will be great if black folks take their rightful place in controlling all the commerce, all the labor, all the development in America. Because you don't understand that you can sit and they can create the legislation, but it means nothing without the work being done. Did you get that? Did you ever wonder, you have so many people, oh, I'm sorry, best rapper, Eminem? You want to play that? You all want to go back and forth? We want to do that? Because we can do it. I'm just saying, but I want you to think about that. What would it be like if everyone, we showed the clip, 60 Minutes did a clip that talks about people in Appalachia and what it looked like and the dire poverty state that they live in. No jobs, no health care, no coal mining experiences, just dirt poor, poor upon poor upon poor. And one of the interviewers, the lady said, well, if I'm not better than an N-word, who am I better than? But I promise you, all through the house, they're blasting rap music or 2 Chainz. And there's a disconnect. So I did this post, and a friend of mine from high school, great morning, Doug Jacobs, happens to be white, but went to high school, went to King, okay? Doug didn't have any problems, no problems with Doug. It was great. Doug wrote, well, Collette, you know what? I don't think that white folks even put it together. I don't think they understand. I don't even think they think that way. So maybe there should be some kind of exchange where outside of the entertainment, outside of those things, they can really understand how to walk in the shoes and have the experience of a person of color. And so I don't know if you thought about that, because there's not a consciousness. Of course, those that control. Great, amazing morning to my moose. We were having this conversation yesterday, and he said, well, yeah, absolutely. Everyone knows what it is, because those who control, those who generate the wealth, those who have the Geppetto, they know what this is, and they consistently perpetuate it. And even those of us who have amassed wealth, who are on the other side, are going to perpetuate it to continue the wealth building. And I said, and I get that, but I'm talking about the average person. Does the average person understand the disconnect in how you can be so enthralled with black culture, white women, lip injections, posterior injections, everything, braids, you want tanning, everything, you want to look like a black woman, the desire for black men. You all saw the quote. Kim Kardashian was supporting some very derogatory statements that a gentleman made about black women, about the community. Her position was, you know what, you all should just lay off of him. Let him be able to say what he wants to say. But do you realize that you have 2 black children? One of them happens to be a girl. So there's a disconnect in that you can desire and want the black man, but then when you have children by him, do you not believe and realize that your children are black and their experience in America is going to be black? I don't care if you're multiracial. We're all multiracial, whatever that means, okay? But they're still black. And so you want to identify with the culture. You all want to make money off the culture. You want to look like the women as a part of the culture, but you don't respect the people who make the culture. That's where I'm going this morning. Even from an electoral position, you don't respect the vote and the voice of the people. You figure I can just throw some sound bites out there. I can just say, oh, because we're Democrats, I'm going to throw this candidate to you, and you should just vote for the candidate. The candidate doesn't have to come into the community. The candidate doesn't have to ask questions of you. And let me just implore all of you, and shame on you. I'm going to say that right now. There's open forums. The Dabo Sheffield Center has presented open forums where you can come and talk to the candidate. The only candidates, I don't even understand how you don't show up. Gretchen Whitmore, I don't know who has seen Gretchen Whitmore. If she walked in a room right now, in your house right now, other than being a white woman, you wouldn't even know who she is. Has she been any place in the hood where you can come and talk to her? You can have an accountability for who she's trying to be as an alleged governor? No. But when you get, see, and I think maybe sometimes we like that. We like for folks to dog us out and not show us the respect to show up, to be accountable, to answer the questions. It seems like we like them even more. Because we had a round table with Shree, and like I told you, it doesn't mean that you have to vote for him. But if this is your livelihood and your vote is important and it is your voice, you should have been out there asking questions. We have a community meeting that's coming up. It's open. Again, everything there is free. It's a community meeting Thursday, the 24th. It's coming up at 6 p.m. Now, there's going to be the guest speaker for that one is Abdul El Said, who's running for a gubernatorial candidate as well under the Democratic Party. Are you all going to show up for that? So maybe I'm just asking, are we so caught up in being Black and the oppressiveness of Black and what we have to do to try to get a voice to be seen as citizens? Because we're citizens, but we really don't know that we're citizens. We're acting like residents. We're acting like we're just a resident of these United States of America versus being a citizen. And so maybe we're just caught up in being Black to be oppressed as Black folk and to constantly fight for people to treat you fair, as opposed to saying, guess what? I'm a citizen. Who you are or who you aren't doesn't determine who I am. And my rightful place is to tell you what to do to govern me, to tell you what to do to educate my children, to tell you what to do to make my neighborhoods better. But maybe the truth of all of it is that we don't even know that for ourselves because we don't understand who we are and what we need because we're so busy in the slave mentality of someone telling us. And so maybe we think that all we can be is the Black culture. So maybe that's why the only thing we can do when we're trying to grow our children up is put a ball in their hand. Either basketball, football, put a mic in their hand. Make them dance. That's the first thing little kids, let them dance. No, they know all the words, let them rap. You want to rap, sing, because we believe that the only way we can amass something greater in this America is to be a part of the Black culture that everyone validates. We're going somewhere this morning. So no one's pushing you to be an academic. No one's pushing you to be an intellectual. No one's pushing the education part of it. There's, no, get the money because you want to be an athlete. Get the money so you can rap. All the girls, get the money so you can be in the videos. That's how you amass success. Come on, you guys. What would America look like if we believed as Black folk that we're more than the culture? That's what the topic of today is actually. What would America look like if we believed as Black folk, if we were more than our culture? I'm going to go to the lines. Appreciate your patience. Great, amazing morning to you. Are you there, caller?
How you doing today?
Amazing, thank you.
First, you having a great. I'd like to give a shout out to all the TV shows, TV
Please.
33,
Absolutely.
Comcast Channel 91, WHPR,
All right.
Housing Park. Miss Ramsey.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
I can't hear you. Is there a delay in your phone? A-Ball?
No, well, earlier when I hate to talk like this online, but when I first called, the show was not being heard.
You couldn't hear me.
Through the
Okay.
TV,
All
where
right.
you could see you, but we couldn't hear you.
Okay.
So, I don't know, it might be a slight
Can you-
technical difficulty.
Can you all
And
hear me
then I
now?
found out on my phone I had to turn my speakerphone on because I was in an overfield where you couldn't hear the clip.
Okay.
So my bad. But going back to the point what you bring up, thank you so much for suggesting the opportunity to use Mr. Militia Bob, Reverend Holly, and you, as far as me stepping from DJ 8 into the political world. I want to say thank you.
Sure, not a problem.
Something that you just said today that most people don't understand the basis of what you're doing.
Okay.
I know that if you drive by Wyoming at 8 Mile, a week ago you saw a sign in the street, Senator, and on the side of the building.
Sure.
Meaning you access political candidates to the hood. Thank you. Now,
Don't
you
I
just
say
stated
don't thank me.
that
Thank the
another
Sheffield Center. Okay.
government,
Sure.
governor candidate
Okay.
is coming to the same place.
Sure.
So you're giving opportunity for more than one person who's running for governor to speak to the people who are the actual residents of our community
All right.
as being non-biased. Thank you. I don't think people really understand what you're doing, but I do.
Well, let me just say this much to you. At the end of the day, that's the conscious mindset. So as I presented to us, as I wanted us to delve in today and juxtapose that to what we've been talking about, that if indeed you realize that you were more than what people say you are, then you can either A, maximize what's presented to you. As it pertains to the political arena, it's not about, I keep telling us, it's not about what they're going to promise you. It's you knowing what to ask them for. That's what this whole thing is about. And so we get it twisted. We don't maximize the access and the opportunities that we have. Hello, we are citizens. We're not just residents, but we act like residents. So you're consistently having a conversation that you're not included, but then when a platform is presented for you to be able to have a conversation, you don't show up. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, you don't show up, and then you get mad at what you're given. So whose fault is that? But please continue. I got a couple calls, and I got a guest in the building. They're in here, so we're going to have a conversation as well. Hey, Mal?
Yeah, well,
okay.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, you really don't know how you became the new Martha D. McQueen / Sister Beaumont for the residents, for the people of the city of Detroit. I appreciate you so much.
Not a problem. Not a
because
problem.
you're bringing the conscientious of being realistic.
Sure.
Okay, you're a person who happen to live in this country. You're a woman that happen to have certain features. Okay, but you're a child of God above everything else.
Sure.
And a lot of us in our community is really forgetting that.
Yeah,
absolutely. So I want to thank you.
Not
because
a problem.
The fact that you can just bring two different candidates who previously had issues with us the opportunity to come from the same audience to speak what they want to speak or how they can enhance our community, people really don't acknowledge the power that you are doing for us in our community.
Well,
it might be a small gesture. It might not be something you get paid for. But the fact that you care, you love this community that much, and you do it every day, all the time, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Not a problem. It is my pleasure to be of service. What do I tell us? My goal is to educate, enlighten, and empower, just to spark the conversation, to have us think and grow rich, to think. Because the majority of us don't think. We regurgitate information, and I know you all get offended when I say that, but we don't think through things to be able to have the conversations that I believe are so fortunate for us to have, especially here on Coffee and Conversation. So I appreciate you, 8 Mile. I want to get a couple other calls in before I go to the break.
Well, just remember, you know you're doing the EEOC, right?
You
From
said
JD Hill.
No. You all put me someplace that I didn't know.
Education, employment, ownership, control.
Sure.
I just didn't bring it up, but the last 5-6 times on your show, that's exactly what you've been talking about.
Well,
that's
works.
What you've been doing
in
real life.
It works.
So rest in peace, JD Hill, because
Absolutely.
we have another person that's committed to pushing your goals that you put out here in this community 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Thank you, dear.
Appreciate
and
you.
also
Make today amazing.
The new famous saying in the city of Detroit is, have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day. I'll talk to you later. Make it amazing. Thanks so much for your patience. Great morning to you.
Good morning, fellow patriots.
Good morning, Patriot.
You're hitting the hammer on the nail today, because you're fired up and ready to go.
Sure.
You are on point when you say that we acting like residents. A lot of us do, instead of acting like we live here. Like we visitors. We're not acting like residents of our city. We're acting like we visitors, our country. But it's being reinforced at home, and I keep hearing people say, "This ain't our country. This ain't our constitution."
Right.
And we the only people that's beating us. Is us, okay?
Sure.
And this propaganda that we put ourselves under, of not taking control of our destiny, is a problem to me. And I've been seeing this for some years now, Collette, how much we separate ourselves from this country and the ideals of principles of liberty and freedom and justice for all.
Sure.
And until we get that message and put it into our mind that this is ours, we built this.
Yeah.
It's our destiny. We are not here by accident.
Right.
We are here for purpose.
Right. Absolutely.
And until we get that, Collette, we're going to keep losing. Because we are the best of the best human beings on the planet. And we are supposed to be the ones that are the conscience of the world.
Sure. Absolutely.
So
I agree. I think we live it, and I think we need to reiterate it. And I think it's times like this when we talk about consistently asking America to do more for us, asking what does it look like. And that's why I was so fortunate to be able to change the construct of the conversation this morning as to what would it look like if white America treated black people like they treat black culture, as opposed to who we are if we acknowledge that we were more than black culture. Because we're presented opportunities even that created the success in us, the entertainment that we talked about, what that looks like, but we don't maximize that. I got a gentleman in the building. He's about to come up. That's
okay,
the thing.
Collette,
Things that are happening right
keep
here.
up the good work. Okay, to keep that conversation going.
Absolutely.
I don't think people understand how great we are.
Yeah.
We hung up on this color thing, and we passed for white people. Okay, we got people that look white identifying as black.
Sure.
They love themselves.
Sure.
They love their black. They love being black, although they look white. Okay.
Right.
So
Say it.
if we continue to keep on putting the color scheme up there, that's it. Look at the person. Is the person good or evil? That's it. That's our fight. Our fight against evil.
Right. Well, you know what? And I'm going to say this, and then I'm about to go to the break. And callers, I see, I know all the lines are lit, and I'm going to bring my guest on. At the end of the day, it's a socio-economic construct, everyone. So if I, the power that be, can make you believe and create a division against you, that you are not, one is better than the other versus whatever, you all are in the same class. If we're all poor, we're poor. If I'm black and I'm poor, my experience is the same as if I'm white and I'm poor. Okay? If I'm Asian and I'm poor, whatever it is, poor is poor. But if you consistently allow others to dictate what you think and what you see and how you process and who you believe yourself to be, you'll continuously play into this cycle. And you will believe that you are much more or much less than what they say you are. Stop letting someone create your narrative. We have to control the narrative in all aspects of our lives, period. So if you want to just keep living like a resident, so be it, versus being a citizen. I appreciate you, Patriot. We're about to go to break. Everyone about to go to break.
You have an amazing day.
You have an amazing day as well. Everyone listen. The bigger introduction of this conversation has been about culture. We've talked about entertainment. I talked about music. Well, we're going to give you an opportunity to be a part of something bigger that's right here happening over the next several days in the city of Detroit that you can't say you didn't know about, that you can't say wasn't presented to you, that you can't say that you wouldn't have had the opportunity to learn and to be better by. So you don't want to turn that dial. You want to stay right there. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back to present it to you.
If you want to make sure you stay in good conversation, you gotta tune in to Coffee and Conversation with Collette. That's me, Thursday mornings from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. on the only station, WHPR TV 33. See you soon.
Great, amazing morning again for those of you who are just tuning in. We're back. You're still going to get more coffee and conversation. We're not going anywhere. You know, this is our Thursday hour of power. So I'm just coming off of the conversation of if we realized that we were more than our culture, what would it look like? And I'm not saying that we don't stay in what works with us naturally. If you want to sing and you want to dance, or you want to be behind the scenes, you want to produce, you want to have a wonderful station like this, it is the business of it. And so when we have the opportunity to get training and to have exposure and to have the real conversations, do we make the most of it? Or maybe our conversations are just that, oh, we didn't know. Well, today we're going to let you know. He's in the building, Mr. Ron Johnson, a.k.a. he just told me that one, DJ Jungle, which is really cool. He's going to be presenting the Detroit Electronic Music Camp 2018. Welcome to you, DJ. Which is better for these purposes? So when you're behind the wheels of steel, that's what they call them. That's when am I dating myself? Do people still say wheels of steel?
Yes,
Oh, okay.
in some circles they still consider them wheels of steel.
Because
yes.
I'm old. The wheels of steel.
Yes.
Welcome to you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Ah, it's a pleasure. So come on now, we're excited. The Detroit Electronic Music Camp.
Yes.
How did that come about?
Well, this is our second year actually having the camp hosted at DIME, which is Detroit Electronic Music. Detroit Institute of Music Education,
Sure.
downtown. And this is our second year. We are very excited about this program because it's free workshops on different software, different gear that is coming out from Native Instruments, Pioneer, Serato, and Ableton.
Wow. So let me first of all, if you all didn't get anything, did you get free? Free, you all. So normally workshops like this are in the hundreds of dollars. Like if you see, I've seen them. They'll do a little clip and you can learn new technology for $350. That's the early bird special. This is free. Let me just say that, free again.
Free.
So let me just say some of the individuals, because these are the workshop titles.
Yes.
Everyone, if you all allow me, I'm gonna make it plain for you. Sunday. So let me say the dates are May the 20th through the 25th.
Yes.
Okay. Sunday we're gonna have John Collins. He's gonna talk about history, the Red Bull Radio. Michael Fotias, is that it? Big Sound Productions.
Michael Fotis.
Fotis. Y'all help me out here. Fotis, Sound Productions for festivals. Scott Go Gordon, Deep Space Radio, online radio. I mean, listen to everyone. Harley Brown, Mother Cyborg, some of the days producers of events. I mean, this is huge. Pioneer Masterclass. Have you found, DJ Jungle, that a lot of us we have the innateness in us? We be to music, but we don't have the skill set to work the technology. Is that what you're finding?
Exactly.
Okay.
And what I want to do is fill that void where you're able to connect the educational portion to the technology and to the hardware.
Yes.
A lot of children buy stuff or get stuff. I don't know how to use it. Well, we got workshops to help you learn how to use it. We also have classes to actually go more in depth to teach you how to use these technologies.
That's so important. I mean, do you all see? That's what we're talking about. Educate, enlighten, and empower everyone. These are free workshops now. And you have to visit. See, you can't even say that they can't even complain that they can contact you on Facebook. So on Facebook, it is what? DEMC.
Yes.
All caps?
Yes, all caps on Facebook.
Okay, very good. And then is there anywhere else that they can reach you?
Primarily go
That's
to Facebook.
It. That's pretty good. Or you can email everyone. Spin Inc. Detroit 1. Let me spell that for you. SPININCDETROIT 1 at gmail.com if you want more information. And then you're going to have a party. We like parties.
Oh, it's going to be dope.
Are you going to spin? Maybe you might be like the guest.
I may spin, but we're really highlighting some of the presenters from our workshops, such as O.P. Miller.
Okay.
We have DJ Alton Miller, which is an international Detroit DJ.
Wow.
We also have DJ Holographic and DJ Gia, which are the two sisters that's representing the DJs that will be playing that night.
Nice. Did you all get that?
Yes.
I mean, let me talk about the importance of what's this, the techno electronic music festival type bring. It's an international space into Detroit, and I don't think people really know that.
And that's the saddening part about it, because a lot of people around the world consider Detroit to be the mecca of techno music. And I stayed in Germany for 2.5 years.
Oh, sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Sprechen Sie klein Sie Deutsch.
Oh, see what I'm talking about? Pop the collars off. That's what's that. Come down. Okay, come on down. Yeah, you ain't never know. You ain't know what's going to hit you. You just don't ever know. When you're part of this conversation, you don't know what's going to hit you. But yes, please.
Yes.
Germany for 2 years. Great.
Yes, and I went to one of the dopest clubs in Frankfurt. It's called the Dorian Gray. It was right in the airport. They're playing Detroit music. And
in the airport.
In the airport.
In Frankfurt.
In the airport.
Nice.
So our children here in Detroit need to get more knowledge about the music that we created and have pride in it, and take hold of it. Detroit DJ internationally is a world respected DJ.
Yeah. I mean, did you get? But it's right here, everybody.
Right
see what I'm talking about? It's about us embracing our culture. That's the thing. We're so good at being a part of it, but we really don't embrace it. We don't understand it. I don't think we take hold of it, but we're great to allow people to put us in it and make money off of us with it.
And that's the saddening part.
Okay.
And Sunday, the kickoff at Submerge, we also have a tour of the museum that's included with the workshop, so they can see the actual history. You know, a lot of children don't know about Juan Atkins,
No.
or the Wizard, or Underground Resistance, and their contribution to Detroit and Detroit's music scene.
Yes. I mean, the lines are left. We're going to go take some calls if you feel
Yes,
comfortable with
yes,
that.
yes.
But everyone, I mean, that's what I want you to get. Our culture. So I changed the topic for us this morning. What if we were able to embrace and realize that we are more than how they see us, and really leverage that? So you can be the talent and you can be the engineer behind creating products.
Yes.
How many of your colleagues, I mean, are those some of the conversations that you have? Or are you so immersed in the creative process? Because there has to be someone that has the business behind the creativity.
You looking at them.
Come on, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I started this nonprofit in 2015. I started DJing back in the 80s.
Okay.
But I've been listening to a lot of the radio stations, and I'm really turned off by a lot of things that we hear, because we hear a lot of negative, derogatory things in the music, and our children are internalizing that.
Yes.
So through this programming, I wanted to introduce children to understand music, music theory, and create different types of music that we could more appreciate and benefit from as a community.
Did you get that, everyone? Isn't that what we talk about on this show? You couldn't have been a better compliment, DJ Jungle. Because at the end of the day, do you all get it? That he who controls the conversation, what? It creates the imagery. So if, to your point, if all you're listening to is something that puts into your psyche that you are perhaps less than, that
Less
you are
than, this, that, and
bees
the
and
third.
hoes, this, that, and the
Yes,
third, that
yes.
you can only be this, you start internalizing that.
Yes.
And that's the only thing that you believe that you are.
Yes. So you are what you continue to put in your mind. I'm a martial artist by trade, so
Okay.
in the schools, you know, a lot of teachers have a lot of disciplinary problems.
Yes.
So I looked at it. What is this child listening to before they come to school in the morning and before they go to sleep at night?
Yes.
I'm not going to name those stations,
Right.
but the music that they play is shameful, and it had to be some change.
Yes.
You know, you can't change or save the world, but there's some responsibility upon ourselves to help make some change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And let me just say, and I believe that we can change the world. We can change our world.
Yes.
So a lot of times we believe that it's just such this big, huge, vast, like you see the globe when you were
Right,
little.
right.
But your world, you can change. Hello, there is a plan as to why certain music is in rotation. And what do artists always say? In order for me to get certain deals, people want me, they can only say certain things. That's not the kind of music that I would normally want to do, or I want to do something else that's more uplifting for the community and
Right.
what that looks like. And so look at what happens.
Yeah, and you remember back in the 70s when we used to listen to OJs. The OJs had a song called The Message in the Music.
Yeah.
And also had another song which was called Ship Ahoy. And this is one of the questions I ask my children. Have you ever heard of Ship Ahoy? Ship Ahoy. You need to listen to it, because that song is dealing with the Middle Passage, and we need to know that type of history.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited about this program.
I'm
very-
excited too.
I'm very excited.
This is really good.
Yes.
This is really good. And so this is your second annual, so congratulations
Thank
to
you.
you.
Thank
And
you.
you need to continuously propel this kind of experience for us here.
Yes, and you know, the citizens of Detroit need to know that there are things that they can have their children come to that are child-friendly, family-friendly. We are downtown. We are in Dime. We are building classrooms in the Midtown area, so we do have some presence in these areas where
Yes.
we think we don't have a presence.
Yes, yes.
We just need you to be present.
Absolutely, absolutely. So then you can't say that you're not a part of it, because we've been having conversation on the show about, well, they don't invite us downtown. I said, well, you don't go downtown. Who are you waiting for an invitation for?
I don't have to wait for an invitation from anyone. I'm born and raised here. I've been here almost 50 years of my life.
Okay.
You know, so I don't have to ask permission from anyone.
Right.
You know, we have to take charge. You know, a lot of the books you was talking about, like Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah.
I read Think and Grow Rich by
James Allen? Okay.
Dennis Kimbrough.
Okay. Yeah,
A black
absolutely.
choice. One of my heroes is Reginald Lewis. Why should white guys have
All the fun, right.
And he's sitting like
Yeah,
this.
like, ha, right,
Like,
right.
what's up?
Right.
I'm going to get my piece too.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
this is the same type of drive I have, the same type of passion, and I've talked with several people in the entertainment industry. And matter of fact, Bushwick Bill
What's your girl? Yeah.
from Ghetto Boys,
Yeah.
thank you for giving me the motivation. Who else?
Wow.
Brother from Public Enemy, Professor Griff.
Okay.
Thank you very much for your book, Psychological Warfare on Hip Hop.
All right.
So these are the things that have helped motivate me to come up with Spin Inc., which is the nonprofit, and DMAC, which is actually the project that we host every year.
That's great. I'm excited, everyone. Let's go to the line. They've been waiting. Let's see what we have to say. Thanks for your patience. Great morning to you.
Oh,
Can we hear you? Are you there?
yeah, hey, hey, y'all.
Hey,
Peace,
six
peace. How
four.
you doing?
Like the 6-4, and man, I love electronic music.
6, are you there? We can't hear you.
Yes, I'm here. I'm
Okay.
here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you now.
All right, yeah, man, I love that you got this brother on today.
Yeah, see how it all worked out?
You know, I come from that genre. I got a couple of features on some big records in ghetto techno
Right. Okay.
with our day.
Oh, our day was over at Byright back in the day, man.
See?
Yeah, man, me and him coined 2 bangers.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Big shout out to our
DJ
day.
Godfather,
Yeah. Yes. Yes. You know.
Mike Banks himself, the man who told me no artist is bigger than sound.
Brother, I had a discussion with brother Mike the other day. You're no bigger than the music, and that's why he stated that they cover their faces because it's not about them. It's really about the music and the passion of the music.
And this music, Collette, and WHPR listeners, is independently black owned. There was a woman on the show, young lady, awesome, Tina Nelson, who had In My House techno show
Okay.
on 88.1.
Uh-huh.
And I even did an interview on that show. And that show is one of them shows that uplift the electronic and the techno community, the house music. And that music is a driving spirit behind Detroit.
Okay. All right.
I think if you're born in Detroit, you're born with that spirit of dance.
Right.
Nice.
And that's what techno is about to me.
Okay.
Being able to dance and be free without the impediment of words. It is just amazing, man, that it's something that birthed out of Detroit.
Yeah. You know what I want you to do? Are you going to be on air today? Are you doing your show today?
Yep.
So you know what I'm going to
I
do?
say that reluctantly because I've been so busy, but they call me sometimes. But yes, I will.
Okay, so I'm going to forward you this information as soon as we get off the air because I'd love for you to present that on your show. This is 6'4". He has a show. He has a radio show.
Okay.
So I'd love for you to share this information as well, okay? That's who we are. That's what we do. And I'm sure you were going to come on down to the wonderful workshops because this is right up your alley, and I need to come on down too. Everybody. Did you hear that?
John go back.
Yeah.
Me and John Collins go back.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will. I'll send it over.
Yeah, and these workshops, unlike no other, I don't even think Guitar Center put workshops like this together. And that's a big corporate
Yes, it is.
entity.
Yes.
5 days, 6 days of workshops. Last year
Yes.
we had 15 workshops that go over 2 weeks.
Wow.
That was tiring.
Yeah.
So we broke it down to a week.
Yes.
And, we really need to highlight the stars and the legends, especially the females.
Yeah.
Monday we have Stacy Hotwax. We have DJ Minx, legends in the city.
Nice.
Jenny LaFemme. We have, who else?
Yeah. I was gonna say.
Harley Brown from Red Bull Radio. These sisters are doing things in their industry. So we actually could show young sisters, y'all come too and become
Yeah.
a DJ. And it's more
Yeah.
than just DJing. Like the sound engineer that's producing the show right now.
Mm-hmm.
In an abstract, he's a DJ.
Yeah.
Because he's mixing things together, making things work, making things consistent.
He
and
makes
congruent.
them work for me.
He
If
makes
I
it
didn't
work.
have Sean, I don't know what I do. I tell everybody, he makes it work.
Yeah.
So everyone
And
in me
if I may,
come.
my brother, if I may add,
Please.
these sisters that he's talking about,
Yes.
Stacey Hotwax Hell and DJ Minx, these are sisters with positive images.
Yeah.
When you see these women, you see some real soul sisters.
Nice. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, that's what it's about. Again, us authentically being who we are in the environments in which we're in, and we make it work for us.
Yes.
It's really that simple. If you can understand who you are, be comfortable with who you are, you shape your own narrative, and that's what you walk in. So appreciate you, Six. I'm going to get this over to you and everyone else. I'm going to miss your call. Our time is up. See, that's what happens when you're having the conversations. But we would be remiss. You guys, you got to come out. Detroit Electronic Music Camp, 5 days of free workshops, and then a big master jam afterwards. DJ Jungle, so appreciate you. You guys got to go to Facebook, DEMC.
And register.
And register. I had it
Free.
posted on my social media. You can check out my social media. I mean, come on, you all. That's who we are. If we don't understand how to be better, if we don't understand how to create conversations that are going to educate, enlighten, and empower, it means nothing. It's all for naught. But on today, you can't say that you didn't get something that's going to make you better, because I know that you did. So I appreciate you again, DJ Jungle. You all continue to make today amazing. Remember, you are what you think. No situation, no scenario is unsurmountable. It's how you look at it. So until the next time, see you then.